Welcome to the deep dive. Today, you and I are really going deep into the world of Neville Goddard.
That's right. We're looking specifically at one of his lectures from November 3rd, 1969, called All Things Are Possible.
And it's got a core idea, doesn't it? About belief and imagination.
A really powerful one. He basically says that your belief, your imagination, is the creative force. He even equates it with God.
Wow. Okay, so we've got the full text, thankfully, from the Goddard Archive via Cool Wisdom.
Yep. And our mission, so to speak, for this deep dive is to really unpack what Goddard meant by that connection. Belief, imagination, reality.
And what it could potentially mean for you listening right now. Ready to jump in?
Let's do it. So Goddard starts off by referencing two pretty famous Bible verses.
Okay, which one?
Mark 9.23, all things are possible to him who believes.
Right. Familiar? And the other.
Matthew 19.26, with God, all things are possible.
Okay, two verses about possibilities. So what's Goddard's angle?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. He doesn't see them as separate statements about belief in God.
He links them.
He equates them. He basically says, these verses together imply that the believer, well, that's you, is God.
Hold on. So the power isn't just with God, it's with the person who believes. Because they are, in essence, that power.
That's exactly his interpretation. The power you might think is external. Goddard's saying it's actually inside you, your capacity to believe.
So the immediate question for you listening is, I guess, are you willing to go there?
Right. Are you willing to believe something even if your logical mind, your senses are screaming, no way?
Can you believe beyond what seems, quote unquote, realistic?
And that leads straight into the role of imagination. For Goddard, it's absolutely central.
How so?
He states pretty clearly that everything already exists within the human imagination, all possibilities.
So things don't need to be created out there first. They start in here.
Exactly. And crucially, our belief comes from that imagination. If you want to go beyond your current limitations, the only way, according to him,
is through imagination.
Yep. He says, all things now exist there. You can at any moment go beyond what your reason and senses dictate. You just have to access it imaginatively.
This idea of inherent power.
Yeah.
It seems like it leads him to critique external forms of worship.
It does. He brings up Psalm 115, you know the one, about idols made of silver and gold.
Yeah. Eyes that can't see, ears that can't hear.
Exactly. And the punchline is, those who make them are like them. So are all who trust in them.
Meaning, if you put your faith in something powerless outside yourself, you become kind of powerless too.
That seems to be his point. He even uses a story from a newspaper back then. Some famous actress crashed her car.
Oh, yeah.
A Rolls Royce, no less. And she survived and gave all the credit to her St. Christopher icon.
Okay. So she felt protected by the object.
Right. But Goddard's take was, well, she's sort of like the idol described in the psalm. She's trusting in the external thing.
Instead of recognizing her own inner power, maybe, her own belief that kept her safe.
Precisely. He says we get worldly things through belief all the time, but we often miss the fact that our own being, our own awareness and imagination, is the actual creator.
We credit the icon, not the inner source.
Which brings him to this really bold statement. Your capacity to believe is the human imagination, which is the only God.
The only God. That's huge.
It is. He points out how reason limits us. Like with money, reason says, this is my salary, this is my budget, that's it.
Right. The facts. The reality.
But Goddard says you can go beyond that. You do it by assuming your wish through the sense of feeling.
Okay. What does that mean? Feeling it.
It means feeling as if your wish is already real. Living in that feeling internally, that subjective feeling, that's faith for Goddard.
So faith isn't just hoping. It's embodying the feeling of it already being true.
Yes. He quotes William Blake here from The Marriage of Heaven and Hell. Blake asked the prophet Isaiah if a strong belief makes something true.
And what did Isaiah say, according to Blake?
That prophets believe it does make it so. That firm persuasion makes reality.
Wow. So every building, every piece of clothing, every invention.
Goddard would say yes. It all started as a desire, an imagined state that someone believed in strongly enough until it materialized.
He even suggests people and circumstances might sort of rearrange themselves around your belief.
Yeah, he talks about the world being yourself pushed out. Like, if you truly believe you are what you want to be,
The world, which is just a reflection of your inner state.
has to conform. It works to make your assumption real, even without you consciously trying to persuade anyone.
That's a mind bender. He quotes Robert Frost too, right?
Yeah.
Something about the founding fathers.
Yeah, it's a great quote. Our founding fathers did not believe in the future. They believed the future in.
So it wasn't passive hope. It was active creation through belief, believing it into existence.
Exactly. It's an active verb.
Yeah, it gives an analogy, doesn't he? About wanting to go somewhere but not having the money. Like San Francisco.
Yes. He says, okay, reason tells you you can't afford it. Facts say no.
So what do?
You ignore the current facts. You go into your imagination and you subjectively assume you were already there. You feel what it's like to be sleeping in San Francisco right now.
You live in that feeling.
And he claims, quite directly, that if you persist in that subjective appropriation,
the physical journey will happen. The means will appear.
You will always go physically to the subjective state you have appropriated. That's his assertion.
Okay, let's circle back to the God concept. The believer is God. How does I am fit in?
I am. For Goddard, this is fundamental. He calls it the eternal name of God.
Not a name of God, but God's actual name.
Kind of, yeah. But he connects it directly to your awareness of being. Before you even say, I am John or I am Mary, there's just the feeling of being, the awareness.
I exist.
Yes, that raw awareness that I am. That is God, according to Goddard. That's the divine spark within you.
So God isn't some separate entity, but my own fundamental sense of existence.
That's his view. And this ties back to imagination. All things are in the imagination, which is this divine awareness. He even quotes Deuteronomy.
Which verse is that?
Deuteronomy 32.39. It's pretty intense. See, even I am he, and there is no God besides me. I kill and I make alive, I wound and I heal, and no one can deliver out of my hand.
Whoa. And Goddard says that's talking about human imagination.
Yes.
Yeah.
He interprets that immense power creating, destroying, healing, wounding as the power inherent in your imagination.
Even the negative stuff, killing and wounding, that comes from imagination too.
According to Goddard, yes. The power itself is neutral, this mightier self, imagination, God within. It serves whatever you impress upon it, good or bad, through your assumptions.
So it's a tool, and we decide how to wield it.
Pretty much, which leads to how you actually use this power. He talks about walking by faith, not sight.
We've heard that phrase. What does it mean in his context?
Walking by sight is living based on what your senses tell you is real right now, the facts.
Like the lack of money for the trip.
Exactly. Walking by faith, for Goddard, means living from the feeling of the wish already fulfilled. You prioritize the inner, imagined reality over the outer, sensory one.
So you act and feel as if it's already done, even when your eyes tell you otherwise.
Right. He's echoing the Apostle Paul, walk by faith and no longer by sight. Shift your focus inward.
He uses an analogy here too, doesn't he? Something about a violin.
Yeah, a Stradivarius violin. The instrument itself, the Strad, represents the power, God, imagination. It's perfect, inherently capable.
Okay.
But the music it makes, well, that depends entirely on the player. Their skill, their belief, their feeling.
So the power is constant, but our use of it determines the outcome. Harmony or noise.
Exactly. And he adds something important here. You might make mistakes. You might hit some sour notes while you're learning.
Learning to play the instrument of imagination.
Right, and he encourages self-forgiveness. Don't beat yourself up. It's a learning process in this world of educated darkness, as he calls it.
That makes sense. It takes practice. He also uses simpler examples like tailors and barbers.
Yeah, just to ground the idea that imagination always comes first. A tailor has to imagine the finished suit before touching the cloth.
And the barber visualizes the haircut before picking up the scissors.
It's obvious when you think about it like that. Nothing gets created physically without first being imagined. And that capacity to imagine...
That's God.
That's God. And the reason we don't, see imagining as an object...
is because we are it. We're doing it.
We are that reality, that creative power in action. We can't stand apart from it to observe it objectively.
He shares a dream, too, right? About a mansion.
Yes, a fascinating one. He dreamt of this huge mansion on Fifth Avenue, and in the dream, his grandfather was there remembering.
Remembering what?
Remembering when the spot where the mansion stood was just an empty, barren lot. But he's saying this while also describing the mansion as if it's fully real.
So he's simultaneously holding the memory of the old state and the reality of the new one.
Kind of. The lesson Goddard draws is that you can stand in your current barren state, whatever limitation you're facing.
Lack of money, loneliness, whatever.
Right, and you can say, in your imagination, I remember when this was barren, implying
it isn't barren anymore. You've moved into the mansion state mentally.
Exactly. You occupy the desired state imaginatively, using your inner senses, as if it's already true. And he really urges you, the listener, to try this, to test your imagination.
So it comes back to shifting belief away from the external
Away from icons, circumstances, evidence.
and putting it firmly onto your own internal power, your imagination.
Yes. He directly connects this to the commandment, "You shall make no graven image unto me, or have no other gods besides me." The other god is anything external you give power to.
He's saying the only true God is within your imagination.
And that even if you lack all the usual worldly advantages, education, money, connections, genuine belief in your imagination can still create massive change.
That's a very democratic idea of power, isn't it? Everyone has imagination.
Everyone has it. Then he talks about Jesus, but maybe not in the way most people think about Jesus.
How does he frame it?
He says he found the Jesus the scripture spoke of, the Messiah, but equates him with the mind and its functions.
So Jesus isn't just a historical figure, but a principle, a state within us.
Exactly. Jesus, the divine power, is within you. It's your I amness, your own wonderful human imagination.
So when he encourages affirming things like, I am secure, I am wealthy,
It's not wishful thinking. It's a subjective appropriation. You are claiming that state as your reality within the only God there is your own consciousness.
he ends the lecture with another dream about shadows.
Yeah, shadow beings. Some are blind, some have limited vision, some see more clearly.
And what's the takeaway from that?
His interpretation is that we identify with these limited states. We see ourselves as the shadow, defined by our current perceptions and limitations.
We think the role we're playing is us.
Right. But the core message for you listening is that you're just playing a part. And if you don't like the part,
You can change it by assuming a different state and imagination.
exactly. It all circles back to that core biblical idea he started with. Whatsoever you desire, believe you have received it, and you will.
Simple, but maybe not easy.
Perhaps not easy because it requires persistence. Persistently assuming something is true even when everything outside says it's false.
Until it hardens into fact.
Yes.
Until the outside changes.
That's the principle. And he leaves us with this incredibly direct statement.
what it is.
He tells you, flat out, you are God and there never was another. The being in you is God, and you and I are one because there is only one God.
Wow. Okay. So summing up this whole deep dive into all things are possible.
The absolute key takeaway for you is your imagination, when you truly believe in what you imagine, isn't just daydreaming. It's the creative engine of your life.
And Goddard equates that power directly with the divine, with God.
That's the core of it. The power is within you.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening to chew on.
Yeah.
Think about just one area, one specific part of your life where you feel stuck, where reason or your senses tell you this is just how it is.
Okay, got one in mind.
Now, what would it actually genuinely feel like if the complete opposite were already true? Not just thinking about it, but feeling it.
Feel that imagined reality.
Yeah. And then maybe ask yourself, what's one tiny thing I could do just in my imagination right now to step into that feeling, to start living from that new state?
A small imaginative step. A test, like Goddard suggested.
Exactly. It's definitely something to reflect on. We really encourage exploring Neville Goddard's work further if this resonates, and just considering the power of your own belief.